But what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here. And if you are on Twitter on the SouthSideBoys 23 or Tino's Time, you are watching this episode live. So, for all our Twitter fans, thank you for coming and hanging out. But if you're on YouTube and if you usually watch on YouTube, this episode is being recorded as of Thursday at 5 p.m., like we always do. But it will be coming out, as I said to you guys, on Fridays at 10 a.m. these next 2 upcoming weeks. And we just figured out that next week is 4th of July. So we'll figure it out and we'll let you know exactly what the White Sox and what we'll be doing for that. But we're here for another Southside Boys episode, guys. As the White Sox have won 2 games the past week, they said it's still one of the worst teams in the MLB, and it's just not a good time to be a White Sox fan. But we're still here and we're still going to talk about it. So let's not waste no more time. We don't got Justin on here. Justin's at a concert. We're seeing some good stuff. So it's just Deech and Tino today. But we're going to talk about some trades and all of the stuff that is the Chicago White Sox. As Tommy Pham makes the catch and saves the game. And it's still 1-0 going into the top of the 9th. So, or bottom of the 8th. My bad. So let's get Deech in here and let's not waste no time. So, what's up, Deech? Sorry that I got all excited. That worried me for a second. I was like, as soon as we started the show, this guy gives up a home run.
Yeah.
I was like, dang. So, Deech, how you doing? We weren't here last week. You guys know we did that vlog. Tino went to the Astros game. We lost, but what a surprise. I did see one home run again, Deech. It was by Benintendi, so that was fun. But how you been the last few weeks? How's everything been going? And catch us up a little bit.
Everything's been good. Just working. Made a trip up to New York, upstate New York. So was there this past weekend, and then I think it was Tuesday. I was at the game. Traffic was awful. I don't know if they got in an accident or what, right off of the 31st Street ramp. So I actually got to the game as it was starting, and was in line to get a beer when Benintendi homered. Where I was like, "Oh man, that's 2 of the runs. We're only allowed to get 3 a game." So I missed half of it already.
He said only 3 a game, man. I mean, it's just they won on Monday versus the Astros, on Monday against the Astros last week. And then they went and they played Detroit. They only won. Drew Thorpe got his first dub on Saturday. Drew Thorpe looked great. And then Jonathan Cannon came out on Sunday and did nothing and just looked really bad. But I mean, I think that's just going to happen. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, I think people just, I think we expected a lot from him after what he did and going 8 2/3 that game before that. And it's just one of those things I think that we just can't expect it from him every start, where he's done good. He's done a lot of good things, but it just, so yeah. But the White Sox are, as you see, historically last. They are historically last, 21 and whatever. So we know the White Sox are going to be trade sellers at the trading deadline. And me and you were talking. I feel like at this point, there's really not too much to talk about wins and losses, because it's just, what does it matter at this point? Because it's not like if they win 10 in a row, they're going to be back in the race, and they're 40 games under 500. So we're not going to really preview like we have done. We're just going to be talking about different topics and everything else like that. So as my camera tries to refocus itself, because of course having camera problems, I don't want to show you guys all the good stuff just yet till Money in the Bank. But who do you think? And today's episode is who's gone first. So who do you think is gone first and when? I'm going to ask you that as I try to fix my camera.
I mean, personally, if Robert or Crochet are traded, it's going to be like at the last minute. So I don't think either of those two. Maybe a Fetty or Kopech I could see being traded. Tommy Pham is somewhat fallen off.
Not wrong on that one.
But yeah, we'll go with Kopech. I think some team will just be like, all right, we'll just offer enough to get the deal done at this point. So
that's very true. And I know we've had our bad situations with Jadis, but Jadis, you know what? If you are the only one that's here watching the live stream on Instagram or on Twitter, we appreciate you. So just want to say that real quick. But what did you think about Drew Thorpe? Because I think Drew Thorpe obviously had a bad situation where he has not had he didn't have like very good luck, everything else like that. But Saturday against the Tigers, we saw what Drew Thorpe could do. So what do you think about that outing? And do you think we can see this consistently, or do you think that he might get shelled like Cannon did on Sunday in his next start, I think we'll be up against the Rockies, right? This weekend?
Yes, I believe it's Thorpe tomorrow night. I'm not sure. I think Cannon on Saturday and then Crochet on Sunday. The Rockies lineup, I don't know. You never know, but I wouldn't be completely scared of that lineup, although you thought you would be scared of the Braves lineup today, who has not scored a run against us yet.
Oh, man, they're warming up Mr. Kopech. I'm scared now.
I don't know. With Drew Thorpe, I think the biggest thing is he's going to have to throw his fastball more effectively for the changeup to continue to be as effective as it is. That's his big main pitch. And due to his lower velocity, he definitely needs to be hitting his spots or he thinks can go very bad very quickly. So,
well, and we saw, and you kind of lead me into my next thing, is we saw how fast it could get ugly on Sunday when Jonathan Cannon came up. I forgot how the first guy got on, but then he gave up a 2-run home run and the game was over. And Detroit seeing beach balls on Sunday. I guess it was not Jonathan Cannon's day. And I will say, Kuhl, the guy who started today, came in, pitched 99 pitches, did good, made sure the bullpen didn't get too much work, but I guess it doesn't matter when the bullpen is as bad as they really are. But as you said today, they're pitching like superstars. So they got 3 more outs to get. Let's pray they can get it. So, it's been very frustrating and not an exciting season at all for us. So I want to ask you this question, and it is, when we do trade all of these guys, do we see the Colston Montgomerys? Do we see guys be coming up? And do you think that we have a team after the trade deadline in August and September with a bunch of guys, and maybe the White Sox obviously don't win a lot of games, but maybe they're winning games that maybe they were losing earlier in the season, and now they're winning because of guys like Colston. So do you think that could be a possibility after, and hypothetically say all those trades that Chuck had and was talking about, say we do really trade 5-6 players?
I honestly think it depends what Chris Getz is able to, I guess, convince other teams to give us. There have been mixed reports where at first it was teams want to hold on to bats and are more willing to trade pitching prospects. If that is the case, I don't think trading Robert or Crochet seems like a logical move, but everyone's going to have their own opinion regarding this stuff. If you were to trade Garrett Crochet to like Baltimore, I would be asking for Norby and Kerstad, who you could immediately insert into the lineup.
And for people that don't know, just in case they don't know, or like Jadis that doesn't watch too much baseball, what positions do they play?
Norby's more of a second baseman, and then Kerstad's, I believe, primarily a right fielder, but he can play the outfield. So,
and those are the 2 positions that we need, where we've had that problem in this conversation since you and I became friends, probably before you and I became friends, of we need a second baseman and a right fielder. And then Martin Maldonado he did not. I thought he hit a home run. I almost cried. Anyway, so, I mean, and that's kind of the thing where you need to get guys that are going to be major league ready that could come in and help the guys out. And you've mentioned it and you said it. I mean, if we trade guys like Robert and Crochet, it's like, what are we going to be and what's going to give you the reason to go to the ballpark the rest of the year? Everything's supposedly better at the ballpark, but they just keep getting worse at the ballpark as they trade away guys. So, I mean, that's my biggest fear, because when I was there on that Wednesday when I went to the Astros, it was actually 8 days ago. It's crazy how fast time goes, man. It's almost been a week since I've been here. So it's just kind of crazy. And it's like my aunt looked at me and she goes, "Is this what it's like now?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, they're just bad. She's like, "There's nobody here." I'm like, I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "We can go sit wherever we want." She's like, "I haven't felt like this in 10, 15 years. I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "Tell me about it." Because we go to a game every year and it's usually, I'm like, there's something different about this year. So it just, so I'm very interested. And on the other hand, though, for teams that are going to be trading for Crochet and even Robert, Crochet, they're talking about an innings limit. They're talking about now people and worrying about this and that. So Ozzy made a good point on the poster pregame show. I forgot which one it was because I've been watching both now almost every day. And he said it's like you're going to trade for Crochet, but are you going to give up guys that are going to be, and you're going to be, okay, we got this guy, but now he's on an innings limit while your team's in the playoffs. So what are you going to do with Crochet? Bring him out in the 6th or 7th inning? And then Luis Robert, we see what Luis Robert could do. He hit the first home run off of Chris Sale off of a slider today. But the problem is he can't stay healthy. And every time he runs around the bases, I'm worried about him getting hurt. And I don't know about you, but it gives me anxiety. So that's just my biggest fear with these guys. And I think Tommy Pham, obviously, I think Paul DeYoung, maybe as you mentioned, Michael Kopech. Let's see if Michael Kopech can finish this out, raise his trade value. Eric Fetty didn't look great yesterday. But when you play the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani hits home runs day after day after day, leading it off, I mean, what are we going to do here? I mean, there's really not much.
Fetty still battled, too. What do you go, 6 innings?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, and it's like we lost 4-0, but they gave up a few runs in the beginning, and that was really all. They didn't really give up like a bunch of crazy runs that we lost 17-0 like we did to the and that's the thing. I will say, I do want to say this because yes, it's been negative, but Chuck made a good point. The biggest thing about this year is the 1-run games. We've had a lot of 1-run games. We've had games like Sunday where we've gotten blown out, we've gotten our ass beat, but if you look at the schedule, I think out of the 82 to 83, 4 games we've played, we probably only got blown out like 5-6 times, if that. It's usually been the 1-run games that are BS and that are, so I just wanted to mention that because it's just one of those things. So what do you think about these other guys? What do you think about the Tommy Phams, the Paul DeYoungs, the Eric Fettys? Like, I know people want to get it, but I just don't think I think, and I guess this question is, other than Luis and Crochet, who do you think we get the most value out of?
I would definitely say Fetty. There's so many injuries going on where I think it was Jesus Luzardo on Miami was going to be another huge name on the trade market. He's hurt, and they're unlikely to trade him was the latest report now because he's hurt. So no one's going to trade for a pitcher that's hurt. So I think starting pitching is going to be it's going to cost you quite a bit this deadline. Which to your point of Crochet,
that's okay.
I honestly, do you even think he pitches in the playoffs? I mean, he's already exceeded the most innings he's ever pitched in his career. I honestly don't think he's going to pitch like in October when it comes down to the playoffs.
I think that's the biggest thing where it's like if he goes to a team, and depending on what team he goes to, because everybody needs pitching help. And I don't care what team you are. The Phillies need pitching help. I don't care if you win 700 games. You always need that pitching. But where are you going to put him is my question, because if he's a starter, it's also hard to be and become a reliever. It's not that easy. And yes, you can go out there and, whatever. But I feel like maybe it's just me, but I feel like if you're going to go out there and throw pitches and throw even harder, I feel like he might get hurt faster because he's like, like pitching 7-8 innings. If he's going out there and they're like, just give it your all, he throws one pitch and his arm falls off. And we're seeing one of the scariest moments in WWE. in MLB where the guy's arm is just like hanging. I don't know about you, man. Watching Chris Sale today brought back a lot of memories. And every time that man throws the ball, I'm scared his arm's just going to fall off because he just whips it so hard that it's like it looks so clean. But it just like, man, I don't know. And we saw what happened to Chris Sale. He's finally starting to become the pitcher that I think everybody expected him to be for so long. But he's just not had everything that we really, yeah. So it should be really interesting. And it's like, we're talking about this. It is June 27th. Trade deadline is still 34 days away. And as you mentioned, injuries, somebody could get injured tomorrow, and that changes everything. Because What if like a Ronald Acuna Jr. went out? What if Julio Rodriguez goes out? Seattle Mariners need a center fielder, something like that. You don't know, and you have absolutely no idea what is going to happen here. So, yeah. So I'm going to give you
with the trades. The thing that I don't understand is there's going to be a ton of money coming off the books this offseason.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm plugging my charger in my computer.
They are more turning fans away with how bad the product currently is on the field. You kind of need to trade for, and Paul DeYoung just made an error. There we go.
Did he really? Is that how? Is that?
No, it's worse. I can't hear you.
Check.
Okay, yeah, now you're good.
All right.
But
sorry. Stupid microphone. Still trying to figure everything out, guys. That's why we're doing this to kind of test it. This is our testing first ever live stream. So, well, yeah. So what were you gonna say? Sorry about that. I said to make sure my computer didn't die and we didn't get off air. That would have been bad.
I just think you can't really trade for single A players that have a ton of upside and expect fans to really buy into it, or to be able to sign free agents. I mean, if you trade Luis Robert and you go to Pete Alonso, let's say Jerry's like, all right, you got to spend because we have literally nobody on this team. Fans have no reason to come. And they go throw the bag at Pete Alonso. Why would he come here when there's literally not a single player in the lineup that's like, holy shit, this guy's a proven bat?
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing because it's like, well, if we're going to do that with these people, where is it going to be where it's like we're going to get out there and these guys are going to like I'm sorry, but like I saw something about Bryce Harper. Like the stuff that Bryce Harper does to the Phillies, like I forgot how bad the Phillies were for a long time. And Bryce Harper kind of brought them back, and now they're the best team in baseball. And it's like you see the people that want to go and play with Bryce Harper. And that's what you want. You want people to go and be like, I want to play with Luis Robert because he's the best player in center field, and he's one of the best players in the game. And that's the biggest thing that is just like, come on now. And it just like, I don't know. And it just like, I remember when they had Sale. I remember when they had all these guys. I remember talking to somebody. He's like, well, do you want to trade all these guys or do you want to just keep them or whatever? But it's just like, again, like it's just the PTSD. And it's just like, I just want to be successful, man. I'm so sick of watching this trash baseball team that have please Luis Robert make this catch for the love of God. Don't drop it and the White Sox win a baseball game. Miracles happen on the South Side. So at least we get to see a win today. The White Sox have won, guys. We win 1-0. Did anybody pick Luis Robert for the picks to click? I don't think so. I think we forgot to. First 1-0 win since 2018. That's how you this fucking team, man. I hate it so much. I hate this team so much. But now we go, and we do go and face the Rockies. And then next week, I don't even know who the heck we face after the Rockies. I can't even keep up anymore. So,
I know
they do go.
Pittsburgh's coming up, but it's after the 4th.
Okay. So we go and face the Rockies, and then we have an off day and we play the Guardians. And the Guardians are right now behind the Phillies as one of the best teams in baseball. And I don't care what the record is, they could be the best team in baseball. All the homies still hate Josh Naylor. We will always hate Josh Naylor. I don't even care. So, obviously,
He had Josh Naylor's stat the other day. I think he has like 20 or 21 home runs already this year, which is the most he's ever hit in a season in his career, and it's June. So, dude, on the tear. Like, God damn it.
It's just, of course, man. You gotta love it. It always happens. You know what? I just realized is that Chuck's not in the office today, and now the White Sox are 2-0, and Chuck Garfien is not on the poster pregame show. Layla Rahimi's undefeated. Layla, keep your butt in the booth. Chuck, I'm sorry. You gotta go. Did you happen to order any of the Sox charity stuff last night?
I did not. I watched the game, but I just have given enough money to anything White Sox related at this point. So,
Well, speaking of that, and like I said, we're really not going to go too much into the Rockies or the Guardian series. I will ask you about it in a couple minutes, but I do want to say, and there is something though that did get you money's worth that you said that you will be doing. So I should tell the people what you will be doing. I forgot when you said that was, but you're meeting a Hall of Famer, bro. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I had renewed my tickets early in last year to try and intrigue fans to kind of lock them in early. I think it was like a deadline of 2 weeks before the actual deadline of when your payments were due for renewals. They it renewed 2 weeks early. You got entered in this raffle, and I think the big prize was you won your season tickets paid for by the Sox, and then the smallest was a Beggar's Pizza gift card for like $100. I won a game autograph session with Frank Thomas in a suite. So it's the Monday after the 4th. I will be at the game chilling with the Big Hurt. So that'll be pretty cool.
Hey, now there you go. I'll have to take some pictures and show us on the episode, whatever that week is or whatever. That is so cool, man. You never know who you'll be able to meet. So at least that's one good thing you get with the season tickets with the White Sox now being 22 and 62 or 61, whatever the hell they are. I mean, hey, that's at least something for it, you know. But one guy that did come off of the IL this past upcoming, and since we did go live last, is Mr. Eloy, Mr. Effin Jimenez. And if I have to watch this man run around the bases one more time, I'm going to scream. Could we please have somebody run for him? Could we hire like Duke Ellis to be the runner for him, or like the bat boy or somebody off the street? Because the man runs so slow and he does not. And every time he does, he tears a hamstring. What did you think about the way he was running? And what do you think? Like, what do we do with Eloy Jimenez? Because he can't do anything
right. That's going to be a tough decision for Chris Getz as well. I at this point, he's not doing anything that would warrant any team even trying to risk just trading for him. And then, I mean, Chris Getz is going to have to eat a decent amount of his contract if he is traded. But at this point, I don't see it happening unless he all of a sudden starts hitting the ball. We lost Duke Ellis, by the way, when we brought up Chucky Robinson. I forgot what team it was, but some team claimed him.
That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, well, I guess we can't bring up Duke Ellis. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have Justin run for shoot. You know what? When you're at the concert tomorrow, go ask Jordan Davis to run for Eloy Jimenez. Because Jordan Davis, man, having a concert. I think that might be the most exciting thing that's going to be going down. You said you're going to that concert tomorrow too, right?
Yes, I will be there tomorrow for Drew Thorpe Bump Day, and then I will be there Sunday for Crochet Bump Day. So at least some good pitching.
What'd you say?
I said at least I will be able to see some good pitching. Although I will say Chris Flexen, every time I've gone recently, has pitched well. His ERA, he's gotten shelled a few games, not that I've been at, but his ERA overall is kind of misleading because the majority of the games he's only given up 3, 4, maybe 5 runs, which nowadays is kind of somewhat of a quality start, especially some of the teams that they're facing. It's like, well, you didn't get completely rocked by the Dodgers. So.
I mean, I'm just happy they beat the Braves right now. Like, that just gives me some type of like adrenaline. I don't know why, especially beating Chris Sale. Like, it's so sad. They're still the worst team, but it's still when they win, it's like the best day ever. I have no idea why. So it's one of those things that I think like this is so historically low for a season. Like, we've talked about it and we mentioned it when we started this, how when the first year we did it, we were 81 and 81 and we couldn't get any worse. And then last year was awful. And I even said it, I'm like, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to say it, but they could be even worse. And everything else like that. And it is as worse or even worse than I think people even thought of, the fact that we're almost at July 4th and we have 22 wins. So there really just is not too much to like talk about with this team anymore, where it's like, unless something major happens in the news or anything else, it's like, we're just going to get through the rest of the season, play these games, see what happens at the trade deadline. The trade deadline is going to be the most exciting part of the whole entire thing. And I love the trade deadline because I don't care what team you are and wherever the teams are at, it's just really exciting. So I'll ask you this question. Who do you think is the first team to trade for anybody?
I don't know. Baltimore have to start making some moves. I mean, I think they have 3 of their starting pitchers are out for the year that started the year in the rotation. So I think Eric Fetty's going to Baltimore. I don't know that they'll buck up for Crochet because there's too much risk involved, but I think they may jump quick on an Eric Fetty or someone to just at least have an arm that you can count on going into the playoffs. Before there's not that many pitchers on the trade block, so you're kind of sitting there like someone's going to get anxious and be like, I better get someone before I get nobody.
Well, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing is because we've seen it in the past where teams, they need that one guy to get over the hump. And you've seen it in the past where teams like the Braves, they recreated their outfield 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they won the World Series. Was that 2-3 years ago? And the trade deadline can make a big thing where it's like, yes, you need to sometimes you need to do whatever, but that's a perfect example. Like if they don't want to give up that much for Crochet, then get Fetty and get somebody. But then also if I'm the White Sox, I want to make sure that you were talking about the 2 guys from Baltimore earlier, those are the type of guys you need to get that are going to fill positions that are going to come in the lineup and help guys like Luis Robert that went 2 for 3 and had the only home run and the only score of the game, where it's like you put guys around him, and they had some guy from Florida at the game earlier today. He had 20 something or 34 something home runs. I forgot what his name was, but they were all talking about him. He's like the number 3 prospect in the MLB draft. And the Sox have the 5th overall pick. So they obviously have not had the best of track records in the draft, but let's just hope maybe this one is a little bit better. Do you know when exactly the draft is? Isn't it soon? Or is it in July?
I think it's in July. I don't know the exact date. I don't.
Because the NBA draft was yesterday, so I know it's a little bit after the NBA draft. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
It's probably sometime after the 4th of July, probably a week or 2 after, I'd guess.
It is July 6th or July 14th through the 16th. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, obviously, when we are live, and we will be live the 18th. So we'll be live a few days after the draft ends. So we'll talk about it, obviously, talk about who the White Sox got and all of that good stuff.
Well, they better fuck up my birthday then. And
when's your birthday again?
July 14th.
Oh, okay. Well, I will actually be out back in Chicago that whole weekend of the 18th until whenever. So maybe you can come to the house that we're staying at. We'll buy you a drink or something, celebrate your birthday a little, Isn't it crazy? It's been a year, man. I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's been a year since your birthday last year.
Yeah.
Time just goes by way too quickly. I don't like it. So, but there's really not too much to talk about. So is there anything else you want to talk about, or is there anything else the last week that has happened that I've missed that I feel, or the last 2 weeks? I feel like there's really not too much that has been going on besides the stuff that we've talked about.
I mean, I'll just say they're averaging 3.04 runs a game this year, which is it's literally a run less than they were last year. I get having this whole Bannister Cats pitching lab and counting on some of these high-end prospects pitching wise that we have, but you got to add bats. I just don't. There's nothing else to say at this point. So
I mean, and that's the biggest thing, because if your lineup's putting up 8-9 runs a game, you're going to win more or less 3 out of 4 of those.
Even said, if you put up 4 or 5 runs in a game, you should win that game in major league, and generally in a major league game.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what the stat is of what teams that score 5+ runs a game win. There's got to be a percentage of whatever it is. Maybe I'll look it up and bring it next week. But it's just one of those things that's and that's the thing. It's the White Sox in reality should really have 31 wins. And that's not even a lot, but it's still 9 more than they have right now. And that's just based off of games of losing when they've scored that many runs, or the Cubs games when they were winning 5-1 and all that. And I mean, the Cubs can't talk too much anything about nothing, because they got swept by the Giants. They got walked off by a walk. They can't do anything right. So the North Siders can't say nothing about the South Siders. We're all in the same boat. So, I mean, Are you going? You said you're not going to any of the Cub Sox games, right? In at Comiskey.
I have tickets for that too. They had
Oh,
an.
you don't look excited at all. He
I don't.
hates those.
It generally just like brings out the shitty people.
It really does. So I think that is all that we're going to really talk about today. I think that, I mean, pretty much covers everything about it. Like I said, there's going to be another week and another stuff that we will have to talk about, but there hasn't really been too much that has been going down. I feel like this is kind of the low period of baseball where stuff is kind of like happening, but stuff really isn't happening. And then once July hits, trade deadlines, trades, it's going to be a mess. So, but as I said, the White Sox beat the Braves.
We
They
win
lost 2 out of 3 again. Huh?
We win like one game a week.
Yeah, I know. Hey, at least it's better than that. It's better than those 2 weeks that we did where we had no wins.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot. I looked at it. We have 3 wins since last time we recorded, and that's sad that it's been 2 weeks. So that's why you got to enjoy these wins while you can, because who knows when they'll get another one. But please beat the Rockies. Please. Probably not, though. So, as I said, we're really not going to talk too much about wins and losses at this point, but let me ask you this about the next 2 series. Do you think that the bullpen can, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Can take something from this game that will kind of like jumpstart them to be like, okay, this is the bullpen we see for a couple weeks? Or do you think tomorrow we're just going to get shelled and they're going to say, fuck them, fuck their lives?
I would think they're going to start kind of kicking it in gear. Someone like Kopech most likely is just like, if they've already said and told him they intend to trade him, he's probably like, just get me the hell out of here. So he'll probably, start trying to bring his A game. Brebbia, although Brebbia comment he doesn't want to leave.
He said, I like the rain. He said, I want to stay in the rain games.
Yeah, so it could get better. The starting pitching is probably going to. I'm gonna predict that. I think Elijah tweeted it out. He was going. I think he's going tomorrow, and he said it'll nice to be able to see Drew Thorpe in person. And then he predicted it could be the Sox second sweep of the season, which, the Rockies aren't very good. If the starting pitching can pitch well, we should at least 2 minimally. Hopefully we just sweep them.
They should. And that's the biggest thing where it's like, if the bullpen can pitch like this, especially the way the starters a couple days ago or early last week were the best starting pitching ERA in the MLB since like May something, with the bullpen being the worst in the MLB. So the bullpen could just pitch semi to like they did earlier today, or today, I guess now, we'll be perfectly fine. So I think that's the biggest thing. So we'll have to see what happens with them. Obviously, Drew Thorpe and stuff are the guys that I'm kind of watching now and I'm more or less excited for than anything. So definitely have to have fun in that game. Send me some pictures. Hopefully you and Elijah can meet up. That'd be cool. So if anybody is going to be at the Sox game tomorrow, anybody's watching from Twitter, go say hi to Deech and Elijah, because, Elijah does some great stuff and we always love our guy Deech. So, Deech, anything else though?
No, I don't got anything more to
say. I don't got nothing else. Well, either do I. So, Deech, I want to thank you, bro, for coming here. And as I said earlier, guys, if you are watching live on Twitter, this is live. But if you are watching on YouTube, this will be tomorrow, Friday morning, this week and next week. And then we'll be back the following week when we return after Money in the Bank for all of our live streams, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Thursdays, all that stuff, you guys know. But we're still on our break. But I thought I'll give you guys a little live stream on Twitter for the SouthSideBoys, since I know a lot of you watch over there. So thank you guys for all coming and hanging out here with Tino and Deech for a little less long episode, but not too much to talk about with this team. So we'll let you enjoy the rest of your Thursday, guys. But remember to go follow all the social medias. Go and hit that like button on this episode. Go and become a member. Leave a super chat. Go and get yourself some Tino's Time and SouthSideBoys merchandise, guys. Go get yourself a sweatshirt that says the SouthSideBoys. If you don't like the White Sox, just support the SouthSideBoys. So go do all that good stuff. Hit the like button. Subscribe on the road to 3K. And lastly, guys, turn that notification button on so you know when the next video comes out and all that good stuff. Guys, enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you back here next Thursday live on Twitter and Friday on YouTube. Guys, have a good week, and we'll see you next week, next Thursday, for another Southside Boys episode.